Hello there, and welcome to this meta show. I've finally managed to sort out sort of a website. I'll put the link down below. So this is where I'm. It's difficult because sorry, my name's Dan. Look, I've done a little intro here. Um, it's I've not paid for a domain yet because I'm a cheap ass. Um, but there's the I'll put it link down below. But it's my Wix site. Wix I used for a business a while ago, and I've got a spare premium account with them. That Wix are okay if you want to do like a graphic design site, or if you're an architect or a therapist. Actually, they've got some really good plugins for like booking calendars and appointments, and like doing programs and stuff. Personal training, I'm not sponsored by them, by the way. I'm just saying personal training is good, but stuff like data sharing is not great. But anyway, so there's a blog here. Like, I wrote something March 22nd, so that shows you how frequently I'm going to keep that up to date. This bit, however, if you click on meta here, we get some charts, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. So I've tried to put them into, I'm trying to present the data in a more interesting format, in a way that people might be a bit more interested in it. Oh, I forgot you did that. It automatically moves the slideshow. So unless you hover over it, but I'm just going to click on it because then it like fills the screen. So this is, these are four charts that I've put together that explain where we are in terms of the old world. So first off, popularity. I've not done this weekend's 26th of the 5th. This is from previous weekend. I didn't do a meta show on Monday because, quite frankly, there was only one result, and I've had a bit of a weird week, so I haven't really had the time to sit down and do this. I've really seriously ramped up my training for like rugby and strongman and stuff. So that's I'm doing like extra cardio sessions and stuff like that. So I have got my sitting heart rate down to about sort of 55, which is pretty good. 55, 60, considering it was like about 110 5 years ago. So I'm quite happy with that. Anyway, that's all irrelevant. We want to talk about Warhammer. So we have this popularity chart here. This shows how many people have entered tournaments. So this isn't like the number of games that people have played with these factions. This is the number of entrants at tournaments, 3 and 5 game tournaments. I think the data is useful for both. I'm going to be doing some other data dashboards later, so I'll have to go back to the old Excel just to explain things, but this is where we are in terms of popularity. So with 10% of the meta, we've got Orcs and Goblins, Khemri, Warriors of Chaos, Bretonnia. Dwarves down there at 8, so that's quite interesting. Empire, there's a lot of entrants, which is interesting because they're not doing very well, and we'll see that in a bit. But yeah, so this is where we are in terms of popularity. Right down at the bottom, Skaven, 2% of the meta are Skaven. Lizardmen, I still find that really surprising because the models are available, but I suppose they're a legacy faction. So, of the legacy versus released factions, I think you can see a pretty clear pattern. The only legacy faction that's above, I suppose, any of the supported factions are Vampire Counts, who have one more entrant than Wood Elves and Beastmen, but all of these down here are legacy factions. So that's really not surprising because they're not being supported. So what we've got in terms of the little booklet PDF thing that Games Workshop have done, this is all the rules they're going to get. So for now. However, I can see vampires, ogres, dark elves, possibly lizardmen getting supported in future. Demons of Chaos, probably not. Although I don't see why not, because the models are all available. It just doesn't really fit with the setting. Like the time period, which is 2742, I think, from memory, something like that. But the time period that this is set in, which is like hundreds of years before Archaon's even born, Demons are really, really rare. Like, they're confined basically to the northern and southern wastes in the lore. So we're probably not going to see a fully fleshed demon faction. Although the book they've got, I think, is one of the best. Actually, one of the best legacy factions. Really interesting, and actually, there's some super powerful builds in there. So I'd expect them to just become naturally more popular because actually they're quite an interesting faction. They're just a bugger to rebase. And Skaven at the bottom, I'd love them to get supported. I hoped they would be when they pulled the old clan rap molds, but the new ones are pretty good. They're very AOS-y in terms of the aesthetic, so I don't know. I can't see Skaven anyway. But Bretonnia, super popular. Not surprised. Khemri, super popular. Not surprised. I have succumbed to. This is a bone dragon. To it's for my Khalida model because she could ride a Necrosphinx, and I was tempted to do a big Necrosphinx and call it a dragon, but this dragon model's pretty cool. What I've done though with the model is I've put it like so the nose is so when it charges into something, it's not going to get in the way. The problem is charging it in the rear is going to be like difficult, but it's a stupid model in terms of size. Like, it's just ridiculously big. Anyway, so that's the popularity chart. Next, we have win percentage. Now, I'll just explain this. The red bars are the standard deviation of the results. So the top is like what a normal player might win at a tournament, and the bottom is like what a normal player, the bottom end of what a normal player might win. So as you can see, these bars are really wide. So a Beastman player, yes, the average win percentage is about 53%. However, a normal result should be 80 something to about 20 something. And this uses each data point. So you can see some of these bars are tighter, like the Dark Elves. Their results are a bit more reliable, but you still see that the percentages are very, very large. So when you say a 53% win rate for Beastman Brayherds, because of how data is distributed, actually only around about 2% of people posting a result with Beastman will achieve that average. The rest of So this bar basically encapsulates around about 2/3 of people's results, right? So that's the normal, that's the middle 2/3. There'll be some above and some below. Skaven, however, not some below, because the normal goes down to like very, very low. It's very, very low. I think it's less than 1%. It's not naught though. So yeah. So you're not normal if you lose all your games with Skaven, but we'll see in a second that's not particularly accurate. Then we have rank percentile. So this is like the percentile of where somebody finishes at a tournament. So if you're 50th percentile at a tournament, that means you finished in the middle of all the people. If you're 100%, that means you finished top, and if you're 0%, that means you finished last. As you can see, tournament results, I've ordered them the same as the win percentage, but tournament results, you'll see there are some people who, like Chaos Dwarves, who post below Wood Elves and High Elves, and fairly reliably. Dwarves, however, this is the same problem. Dwarves and Skaven actually are pretty much on par with each other in terms of tournament results, which is absolutely bizarre considering they're so much better in terms of win percentage. So Dwarves are just not good at the moment. And the thing that so look at the commonalities, right? Chaos Dwarves, slow. Not massively slow. They've got some cavalry options, but they're pretty slow. Dwarves, very slow. They don't have any real quick options apart from maybe gyrocopters, but gyrocopters don't really, they're not really that good. Skaven, also actually quite slow. So that's your rank percentile. And then this chart, which I thought was quite interesting, is what I call all or nothing. And this compares the results of players in terms of whether they've won all their games and whether they've lost all their games at a tournament. So it's 100% wins is the green, and 0% or absolute value, doesn't really matter. 0 wins are this blue colour. I don't like this chart. It's jarring to my eyes. Comment down below if it is to you too. I don't know how to fix it though. Any graphic design people telling me how to fix charts would be very, 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 very massively appreciated. Anyway, so I've put a chart down here at the bottom so you can actually see the data. What this is a percentage of is this is naught wins as a percentage of total results posted. So of all the, so if we go back to the meta, 97 people have entered for Kingdom of Bretonnia, and 7% have posted 0 wins. So that's what? That's 7 people out of the 97% have not won a single game with a Bretonnia faction. Okay, so if we take, where's another one? Lizardmen, 20% have not won a single game. So if we go back here, Lizardmen, 25, so that means 5 out of 25 have not won a single game at a tournament. The 100% column, this is the opposite. So how many of those players as a proportion of total entrants have won all of their games? And this sort of shows how all or nothing a faction is with the data down here. Now, ironically, Skaven have 15% with 100% wins. However, as you can see, Skaven have only 20 players. So that's 3 out of the 20 Skaven players entered have won all their games at a tournament. And they're probably 3-game tournaments. I will redo all this data for just 5-game tournaments when we have enough 5-game tournament data. However, we really don't have enough at the moment. So I just thought this was quite interesting to have a look at, like to see where these factions are in terms of all or nothing. So we know the win percentages, and we know what the normal range is for somebody going to a tournament, what they'd be expecting to win as a percentage of results. You know, you can all do maths, but basically you multiply that by the number of games and you get roughly, with normal distributions though, it's important to round properly, in that you always round down from this one and round up with this one. So for instance, if the bottom bound here, like Kingdom of Bretonnia, so actually no, Beastmen, it's above 20%, but probably if you rounded that to a, so if you multiplied this, whatever that percentage is, let's say it's 24% to, you know, a 5-game tournament, 24%, you'd normally round to 1, because 24% of 5 is 1. What is it? 1.2, isn't it? Yeah, so 1.2 wins would be, so you might round that to 1 normally. Well, no, because 1 is here. That's outside of normal. So 1 win for Beastmen would be outside of normal. So a Beastmen player should be winning sort of 2 to 4 games at a tournament. Okay, so that's like your normal results. Actually, I'll do that. I might do that next time if I remember, just to change this scale from like number of games won at a tournament or whatever. Yeah, so that I just thought that was really interesting to sort of show how certain factions are, you know, when they're entering, dominating. Like I still don't really understand how, but Skaven have got, you know, a big percentage of results. Now it's not surprising that the ones with the big, and again this is ordered by current win percentage. So Beastmen Brayherds have the current highest win percentage, and actually 0 and 100% wins, it's 12%. So that's not too much really. 12% of entrants win all their games, but also 12% lose all their games. You know, Bretonnia, it's you know, Bretonnia, you're on. So what this also allows you to do is look at, well, actually, Chaos Dwarves, you're unlikely to lose all your games. So if you're going to a tournament and you want to, like, again, have a look at past data. Past data doesn't necessarily reflect what's going to happen in the future, but if you look at past data and you want to make sure that you're not going to win, not going to lose all your games, this kind of stat here is something that you might consider. Warriors of Chaos, Bretonnia, Chaos Dwarves, single figure, you know, 0 win results. 100% win results. I mean, but again, these were 3-game tournaments. So cool. I hope that's a decent explanation of my little charty thing. And there was one result last weekend, so I'll just quickly have a look for that, and we'll talk about a few lists and what we're doing. Idiot. There. What I am doing is being an idiot. So 24th, I don't want this weekend, and I don't want. Oops. I think it was on Best Coast Pairings. It might have been on the other one, New Recruit, which I've just about managed to figure it out how to use. Was it this one? Called to Battle? Could have been that one. I've also changed my inclusion criteria a little bit. Did I put that anywhere? No. Idiot. And basically what I want to see is 60,000 points at a tournament, and I think that's a decent cutoff. So if you multiply like number of players, points per player, a number of games, so you multiply those three figures together, and that gives you the number of points that is being deployed across the whole tournament, and 60,000 basically. So for instance, so if you have a 3-game tournament, that means essentially 20,000 points is deployed around. And if there's a 2,000, point tournament, then you need 10 players, because 10 players, 2,000 points. That means 10 times 2,000 is 20,000. So you got 20,000 points per round. Multiply that by the 3 games. That means 60,000 points is being deployed at that particular tournament. And I think that's the fairest way of encapsulating different tournament sizes, different points limits, so on and so forth. That was more or less my original inclusion criteria. 10 people at a 3-game tournament, 2K was kind of where I started, and then I kind of dropped the points limit a bit, and then I expanded it a bit, and then so then I think, well, actually, let's just stick to 60,000 points, because that was the original criteria and just worked out a bit more mathematically. This one has only posted 2 results. Where the hell was it? Was it that one? No, that one's broken. It was New Recruit, wasn't it? I've learned that you need to click on app to get to... Oh dear. What's this? Okay. Old World. No. Tournaments. There we go. Old World. Yeah. Start date from there. And closed. Was it old? That was it. Old Noobs in the Old World. So this was a tournament that took place in Italy, in Rome, Via di Valle Aurelia. I don't know Roman numbers actually. It's probably Cente Venti Nuevo or something like that. Anyway, stats. No, where's the ranking? There we are. Cool. So Davide Lecce. I am Actorus. I'm not. I don't know what the stuff in the brackets is. I don't understand that. But anyway, so he's got 3 results. He won with Vampire Counts. We'll see the list in a minute. And here is one of these 0-win players. Here's a 0-win high elf player. So we'll have a look at his list, and we'll have a quick look at the high elf list that did well to see if there's any differences. That's a dwarf player getting on the podium, so that's worthwhile looking at. And any other surprising results? I think that's Warriors of Chaos. Oh, he didn't turn up, that's why. And this is a Beastman list that didn't do very well. So we'll have a look at that one as well. And Davide to finish off. Okay, cool. So this is... where's his list? Is it that? Where do you... Oh, it's this, isn't it? We have to click on here. Sorry, I'm still working my way around the system. Right, so he's got an Archmage level 4, blah, 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 on a Lion Chariot. He's got a Noble on a Lion Chariot. Oh, he's gone Crace, that's what... Oh, no, he's actually just got 3 Lion Chariots for the characters, which is an interesting choice. And he's got 20 Spears, who are okay, but not brilliant. He's got some Silver Helms, who I think are quite good because of their move through cover stuff. Because Ithilmar Barding means that you can... I think people are just using them wrong. Like they should definitely be hanging out in woods. So they basically get plus. Well, they fundamentally get +1 to their charge because they can charge into and through terrain because they can re-roll dangerous terrain checks. So 1 in 36 times one of them's going to die. Well, if you roll 10 dangerous terrain checks, you're going to roll 2 ones, and you're really unlikely to roll another one. So they're probably not going to die from charging through terrain. So that's pretty cool, and it also means that you are in cover. You might even, if you're hanging out in woods, you might even be in heavy cover against a unit that's standing and shooting. So you get -3 to them stand and shoot against you. So you it's pretty good. The only negative modifier you ignore when standing and shooting is the range and long range. So you're assumed to happen at short range, but you're still in cover technically when the stand and shoot happens. So Silverhelms I think are quite good because of Ithelmar barding, which isn't here, but I'm pretty sure they've got the rule on their profile. But I think if they do, that's pretty cool for them. So I think people are just using them wrong. And obviously them hanging out in woods means they're -2 to hit with shooting, which means they negate that comes some way to negating the problem that they have with just having heavy armor, just having a 3-up save. Cool. Then you got some Shadow Warriors, Tyranno Chariots, and Tirannok. I don't know how to pronounce Elven words. I know how to pronounce Lord of the Rings Elven words, but Warhammer Elvish and Lord of the Rings Elvish is different. Then he's got a Phoenix, which are rubbish. He's got some Sisters of Avalon, which are great. So he's got an Archmage, 2 Nobles. He's one a Battle Standard Bearer. Yeah. And that Noble's the General. I mean, he's not got a dragon. I think that's the problem. He's not got anything that's going to I suppose that's the problem. Like, how is he going to deal with the dragon? He's got no answer to that. How's he going to deal with multiple Necrosphinx? Again, no, he's got nothing that can kill monsters, and I think that's the problem because monsters do exist. So that's the issue with that list. Alfredo, commiserations for not managing it, but you need stuff that kills monsters. Round 3 should have been the one where he's equally matched, and he got battered by a dwarf list. Oh, that's interesting. Round 2, he played Bretonnians, who have Baron, Royal Pegasus, 3 Royal Pegasus. Again, he's got no monsters. He's got Grail Knights, Pegasus Knights. It's a pretty decent list, but it doesn't seem to have he's got 3 units of Knights of the Realm to fill out the core. He's got 3 units of 3 Pegasus Knights. Right. Yeah. This is strong. Anyway, we might see that later. Cool. This is the High Elf list that did better. Now, Griffin. Okay. So he's got a Noble on a Griffin and a Prince on a Dragon. Right. So he's got 2 monsters. So that you see the difference already. He's got big, flappy, tough, flying, quick, tough, dangerous things. He's then got some Seaguard, which are just a lot better than spears. He's got some Silver Helms to finish it out. He's got Dragon Princes. I like Dragon Princes. He's got some Shadow Warriors, and he's got some Sword Masters, which are pretty good, but they do die very quickly. They're a bit glass cannony. They are drilled though, so if you've got a wizard, especially like battle magic or anything that allows you to do a reserve move or anything really, you can like the battle magic one, which is a conveyance at the end of the movement phase. You can move again. It's brilliant for drilled units because you can just do a drill march up the table. And then you can move again. You can't charge, but you can move again, which means you can basically move 5 times your movement characteristic. You do your marching column march, and then drilled with your extra move. You can then. So that's my theory for my next game for Chaos. Use that with my Chosen, so I can basically move a unit of Chosen 20 inches up the table. I like Battle Magic better for all the other spells. Obviously, Steed of Shadows is one of the best spells in the game for a drilled unit, but the other stuff like giving a unit a 5-up ward and the magic missiles, I think has a bit more utility. But anyway, that's my theory for next time. But anyway, this looks like a good list. It's got no magic though, which is quite surprising. So I wonder. He lost to. We'll see. Okay, this is the dwarf guy who did quite well. He got 2 wins. He's got an anvil, a thane, warriors. Big rangers are great. They're one of the best units in the dwarf roster, I think. Couple of cannons, three or maybe 2 gyrocopters. Not sure what's going on there. He's got some hammers, a small unit of hammers. That's sensible because hammers are so good that you take a big unit and people are just going to avoid it. Whereas taking a smallish unit and like putting a thane in it, for instance, actually that does incentivize people to charge it because it's not that big. It's not that much. You know, they know that they might be able to take out a unit of 12. If it was like 24, right? If that was a 600 point block of hammers with characters and stuff, people are just not going to charge it. They'll just kill everything else, and then outmaneuver you and charge from all sides, and then hope for the best. And he's got 3 crack missiles. So again, any successful dwarf list will have this because it's basically like having not quite, but it's basically like having 3 cannons for almost no points and loads more wounds, and Drake guns do quite a bit of damage anyway. So this is brilliant. You will see this pretty much every single dwarf list. And then we've got this Beastman list that lost both games, which is interesting because, like I said, they're at the top of the meta at the moment. He's got Bray Shaman, Hagtree Fetish, Wargore, Slugskin, Battle Standard Bearer with a War Banner, and then he's got a Ungor Horde somewhere, has he? What's that going? 13 got. Yeah, you're probably better off. Yeah, it's not really got a huge amount of punch, has it? Yeah, and Shaggoth are okay, but they're not brilliant. I don't know where he spent his points, to be honest. I mean, I can see it, but like, he's got a lot of Dragon Ogres. Dragon Ogres are good, but they're not that good. You wouldn't want to rely on them, I don't think. But they're good to like. I think single Shartax are really useful to give you a lot of utility, but they're not. Actually, single Shartax aren't so good for Beastmen because Beastmen have got a really strong MSU build anyway. It's like they've got loads of chariots and little gore hordes and little Ungor units to move around and do stuff, and harpies. So they've got lots of MSU style stuff anyway. So Dragon Ogres can provide a bit of a punch. However, I do prefer Minotaurs for that, especially the Minotaur Lord. He's one of the best Lord characters in the game. So, yeah, I mean, he's gone for the Shaggoth instead of a Dragon Ogre Lord, a Minotaur Lord. Which arguably, he's put the Wargore on a chariot. That's weird. No, you want it Slugskin on foot in like a unit, because then like making Ungor -1 to hit is very annoying. And then the final, which somebody actually did give Davida a run for his money at the end. Who was that? The high elf player that did quite well. Oh yeah, we saw that, didn't we? Yeah. So let's just have a look at the list. So he's got a Vampire Count on a Zombie Dragon. It's not the list. He's got that was a surprising reveal. It's not the list with like loads and loads of Wailing Dirges. So Vampire Counts can win games without that. But he has got a Zombie Dragon. He has got a Vampire on a Coven Throne. He has got 44 Crypt Ghouls, which is a massive unit. And actually, Crypt Ghouls aren't terrible. He's got some direwolves. He's got some zombies, so he can start rezzing them as soon as the battle starts. 23, 24, 25 zombies seems to be like where people are starting for some reason, not just 20. I don't know why, but... and then he's got a ton of Vargheists. So I'd love to know how that actually... I mean, obviously the Coven Throne, the Vampire Count, and the Vargheists are quite manoeuvrable. The rest of this stuff is just a block that sits in the middle. So maybe this is to like... But 500 points of Vargheist, that's pretty nasty. Like, Vargheists are horrible. I'll just get up their rules just to show you. No, that's the wrong folder. I don't want to show you my work files. That would be breach of GDPR. Army Book Vampire counts. Here we go. So Vargheist are about here. I think they count as cavalry, don't they? Or are they? There we go, Vargheist. So movement 6. They're a monstrous infantry unit, but they are movement 6. There's a lot of stuff that gets reserve moves, so they can basically move twice. Armor Bane 2. So they've got Wicked Claws, which are Strength 5, AP 2, Armor Bane 2. So they could be AP 4. They've got Indomitable, so if they lose a round of combat, it's not that bad. It's got Regen 6, and they are skirmishers, which, you know, for a monstrous infantry unit. So if you go back to that, what do they have? 8 of them, which is absolutely terrifying. Like that's a huge block of basically crypt horrors you could use for them, and that's just gonna. It's toughness 4, so they're reasonably tough. They've got Regen 6 up. They haven't got any armor, but I presume that's what the rest of it's for, to get in the way. And Crypt Ghouls, you know, they're not terrible. I mean, because they've got 2 attacks each. You know, Strength 3 isn't brilliant. They've only got hand weapons, so Weapon Skill 3, Strength 3, but still 2 attacks each is pretty nasty. This bit's the most important though. They've got poisoned attacks, which means hitting on 6 is auto wound, which is for the volume of attacks they're going to pump out. That's pretty nasty. They've got reserve move inbuilt, and again, they're skirmishers. So these are -1 to hit with shooting. So they've got a 5-inch, so they've basically got a 10-inch move every turn, skirmish, whatever, or open order, but you'd probably put them in skirmish really. And they move through cover. So, you know, they're pretty horrendous. And yeah, the Vargheists are also very, very nasty. So, you know, there isn't just one build in Vampires that is good. There just is one build in Vampires that is broken and horrible to play against, because it just stops you from doing any of your stuff. It's very annoying. But the Wailing Dirge list, you know, the 2 Mortis Engines, 2 Terrorgeists, and 2 Banshees, that particular list is, you know, it's really susceptible to a lot of shooting. So if it comes up against somebody with a load of cannons, it'll probably lose. However, you know, weirdly, if it comes up against a horrible dwarf list, it might lose. But anyway, so that's the meta this week. There will be another show on Monday. I will update this chart for then. If you're playing tournaments this weekend, I hope you're having a good one, and check out the website. But anyway, see you later. Toodles.